right, welcome here. Reward-based riding, that's what we are going to talk about. I am Angelica Celius. Today's topic, how to train with more than one horse at a time. And we're gonna use the mats to help us as so often. I love mat training myself, and I think it's such a good visual for setting up your horses to be successful when you want to work with more than one horse. So for me, the main reason, apart, okay, time-wise, it is helping me be efficient some days too, but to help with structures in everyday life, probably the most important reason why I bother, so to speak, to set up how feeding works. I want calm horses around feeding time. I almost always wear a treat bag, and I want that to work really well in me just poo picking, being in a paddock, horses, so I can reinforce horses making good decisions out of also formal training sessions, so to speak. So for me, this training is mostly about that, but of course I do think it's really fun too, and really helpful for preparing for real life scenarios and introducing horses just working together and helping them a little bit with their relationships, hopefully. Here we have like a standard setup. In the beginning I am pretty meticulous and particular about who's getting what and when. And here on this picture, we see my white Connemara. In the beginning, he was very food aggressive and attacked his well, not yet friends a lot. And I just feel that is a very stressful situation for everyone, including me. So I put a lot of training into him also realizing that waiting can also bring you reinforcer. So I think that's like an important thing to first think about. Who is attacking who here? If that is not the case, well, good for you, still worth thinking about. In this scenario, I have my icy here. They are on protected contact. This is good enough for our situation. Of course, this can look different and needs to be like more serious protected contact. That's the barrier between me, Boye, the white horse, and Frody, the icy horse, the piebald. So this was good enough for us, just to give me some room and him some room and Frody some room to make things actually work in the beginning. The beginning is often the hardest part, to set up the structures so that everyone can actually feel safe, is of course main priority here. And the setup I use here: protected contact, feeding, Frody. I'm training Frody a little bit here, like standing on mat. He's also standing on mat. You don't see it here. They are both standing on a mat. It's just snowy Sweden. Clicking Frody, and while Boye looks at this, so I'm not too particular about what he's doing, but okay-ish. I have a half of an eye on what are you doing, Boye, but it's not going to be a main priority, and I see no use of being too precise about horse number 2 at all. That's not the point. So whatever, I'm clicking Frody, both hear the click, of course, and I'm gonna deliver the reinforcer to Frody, the piebald, first, and then after that give Boye his reinforcer. So mainly I want to set up an association, a little bit of a connection in his mind that, aha, when he gets fed, that's my cue that I am next, and I'm gonna have the next reinforcer here. And that is the scenario I want to train. And in the beginning, I am particular about the horse that gets attacked gets the first reinforcer. Yeah, you can experiment a little bit with this, of course, to find the scenario that fits you, but I find that's a very good structure because often that solves the problem. Like, okay, that's my cue to stay on my station, and then I'm getting my reinforcer for the attacker. So really thinking about the first steps and how they are gonna look is gonna be important. In the end, I'm not at all like particular or meticulous about this when it works, but in the beginning, I put a great deal of time into setting that structure up to work, and that means that Boye is most often fed the last. Even when I add in my third horse, Tiny, Boye is still gonna be last in the like both those two get, then you get, you know, waiting calmly. And this is a picture from, I don't know, some years ago, where we actually train all three. You see, Boye, you see they keep track on each other, like, what are you up to? Except for Tiny here, furthest to the left, which is doing his thing here. So for me, totally acceptable. You see some like awareness of each other and maybe a little bit of tension, but for me, what you see here, I am very happy with this. Also considering the distance that the horses have to each other to make this work. That's not the goal of this to have them close to each other, but I think it's a mark of things working really well when you can, especially in a training scenario, which the riding arena compared to the paddock is cueing all my horses that now we're doing more formal training. So happy with that. And often when it starts to work here in the beginning, when you can remove the protected contact and everyone still feels safe, I'm gonna start on a longer distance between horse number 1 and number 2. And often I do this on at least one of the horse standing on the pedestal, because I find that that gives more stationary behaviors. Of course, we need a very strong mat stand. In the beginning, they need to, if the horse does not really get that standing for a long time, standing with duration on the mat is a thing. Well, that's of course the prerequisite, but when they have that, go right ahead, because it's gonna deepen their understanding for how mat training actually work, to combine it a little bit more like this, and they're gonna generalize scenarios like, the mat is apparently always a thing. So I like to, of course, have a basic understanding of the mat, but that doesn't need to be endless amount of duration before you start with this. And here you see also my third horse, Tiny, when he came to Sweden. Let's see if we can play it. And often the basics are working here. There's a lot of snow. Often I do start with them. You see, I'm just handing Frody a treat, just like passing by. Spill some on in the snow, no problem. Can also work on descent. So not too precise here, but still two horses that knows what the scenario tells them. You know, they can read the room really, really well here, and it's easy for me to move behind them, and they're close enough, but yet a little bit of distance for both of them to stand quietly on the mat. And I often start with moving one horse around the other, and I often start with the horse that doesn't have as solid understanding of the mat as horse number 2. So yeah, that's most often how I do it. And when the mat stand is good enough, also here we are on my mom's riding arena. Where's the picture? Oh my god, it's so confusing. Never mind. My mom's riding arena with Frody and well, it's his little girlfriend, Mylis. They don't know each other that well, but when they have a good understanding, and even if they don't live together, they can work really, really well around this. And here is what I mean with real life scenarios. Should I want to like open the gate or fix something in the environment, even with two horses like this? Yeah, it requires training, but this is when I feel like all the time that I invested in training the basics is like really, really paying off. So I'm loving this. And for sure, sharing a mat is not the goal in itself either, but it's pretty nice to give the horse an idea of where in space they are, especially if it's gonna like travel together in a horse box and in a trailer float. I don't know all the words in English for that, but I'm guessing some of you know what I mean, hopefully. But I find that pretty well invested time, and of course, when they are a little bit more advanced, having horses that can do different things on the mat. Okay, sorry about the birds. I mean, they're quite nice, the birds. Then they can do like two different things, like really different things, and the stationary horse there still has a very good understanding of what is my task when my friend is moving around here. And we see Ellen, the horse that I'm with. She also knows like, okay, after the click, she usually goes to my friend and do something with him. And that's just my task cue, like now training's over and then I do. But you see here, another like real life scenario. I just want training to be as clear as possible so we can, train wherever, seize opportunities when they show up, and everyone is calm around that part. So yeah, hopefully some tips for you.